Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on the late one. And let me just welcome Gary. How are you doing, buddy, Gary?
Hey, my friend, it's great to be back on the Seymour Senior Show. Happy birthday!
Oh yes. That was my birthday a few days ago, where I became 20. Is it 23 or 22? I think 23 or 22.
Probably it was
I
23, like you don't know. Never
I
know
it
anymore
could,
these days.
yeah, it could be 23. I think it could be 23, Gary. If I'm not mistaken. How you doing?
Mm. Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm okay. I could complain, but it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense at all to complain about anything here, really. Just have to
Now,
just keep going.
yeah, it definitely makes no sense to complain. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining those on Instagram, those on YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank you so much for this Thursday evening, the 30th of the 3rd, and we are aiming towards Easter. What's the representation of Easter, Gary? What's Easter stand for?
Well, as we all know, or should know at least, and the world is very good at doing that, is that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Anointed One, the only God, the only one, came and died. He died on Good Friday, and
Mm.
3 days later he rose again. It's not the Easter eggs. It's nothing about Easter or nothing about a bunny with eggs.
No
It's
eggs.
all about God. It's all about sending His Son. Really,
So nothing about eggs, no?
nothing about eggs.
Well, the supermarkets are completely awash with eggs. I mean, at this time, you know.
Yeah, well, it's sad that they're like that. Really, it's sad it's gone that way. But
I was trying to look for something for Mother's Day the other day, and there was so much things inside there about eggs, you know,
mm,
and things like that, which was totally shocking,
yes,
as much as possible, you know. So I guess, and even Mother's Day, I did notice that the flowers place they just bumped up their things so much. Everybody's trying to make a buck, extra thing or so like that, Gary. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Right. Well,
Everybody's trying to make a buck. I mean, it's just sad, really.
aren't you?
Well, I don't think so. You know, if I'm trying to make a buck, I'm in the wrong place. Or there is something I'm doing that is not right.
It's something that you're doing which is not right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean a very interesting week. This week as we just go straight into and if you notice that I created that flyer and I put on the flyer something different. And what is on the flyer? It is what's your news? What's your news? And I think the key question that I put, Gary, is what would you say is your news even for, I mean, because when you see, I was in the park this morning and I was walking, and I remember my father always 6 o'clock. You got to watch the news, and you got to be aware, so you're supposed to tune into the news. But like in the park, sometimes it's like I'm purposefully in my heart to not think about anything regarding the news. you know, trying to sort of not focus on anything, but there's so much things out there that could actually take you on a different level. What would you say this week has been?
Well, I mean, as you said, Silbert or Silborn, what can you really concentrate? What can you really focus on to say, well, you know, this is the highlight. This is the highlight of the week, or this is the
Mm.
highlight of the month, or the highlight of the day. I think everything really brings in is really very important, and it really does affect everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at one thing within the United Kingdom, within the British Isles, and let's
Mm.
start. Let's start at the top. When I say the top, I mean geographically.
Yeah.
Look at what's happened in regards to the SND. Is it the SND with Nicola Sturgeon? And in the
SNP.
past,
The
SNP.
SNP. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now she resigned, and her resignation has been very cloudy
Very
because
secretive, isn't it? Very secretive. I
very
must say.
because
And then her husband
her
resigned
yeah,
after. Yeah.
her reasons for stepping down I've never believed. I think it was much more than that, and I think that what took place or what came out of the woodwork, I would say, to highlight the problem is that they're losing support. They're losing support amongst the grassroots
Yes.
because it was highlighted that they're losing membership. And I think that really spoke volumes. And she never, I listened to, not to the whole interviews, not to all of them, or to the whole length of any one of them. But what was highlighted is that she was asked a few times about the membership, and she never answered the question. And I
Mm.
think that she lost confidence. Not
Yeah.
her, I mean those that were with her lost confidence in her, because I don't
Mm.
think that she had any policies that really had anything going for her anyway. Now, even though yes, they may have thought at one point of going independent as a country, but that was never
Yeah.
going to happen, and that was just her dream. It wasn't something I believe that could have happened anyway. And and I'll stop after this. What I think affected her and her reputation was
Mm.
when she went after the former leader, and she tried. Look what he did
Alex
for her.
Alex
Look
Salmon.
what he did for her. And he had the confidence for her to take the party forward. And she turned around and bit the hand that fed her. I just thought that that was very crude of her. And when she did that, I think that affected her popularity, really. I may be wrong, but I think that that happened where she was concerned for Scotland.
Because she was so focused so much on this referendum and getting the UK, getting Scotland out of the UK. And after every referendum, she wants to keep pushing it. She wants to keep pushing it at the same time. But now you got this new guy, and here he is, there, you know, and
Yes,
I'm trying to remember his name is it's Hamza Yusuf. Hamza Yusuf, and he's a new geezer. I shouldn't say geezer. I should have respect for him. It's not new geezer or something. you know, he's a new guy for Scotland. You
again,
know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure if he is the right person. Probably he's the right person amongst the bunch that they have, but I don't know if I don't think the Scottish is like the English. I don't think, and I might be going into hot waters there, but I don't think the Scottish are like the English.
Can you
Uh,
break that down? Break that down. What do you mean the Scottish like? What's the point that you're trying to sort of
okay,
allude to right there?
um, the English, I think, are a bit. They give an air of superiority, I think,
Yeah.
amongst the Scottish and the Welsh and the Irish,
Yes.
and because of that superiority, that and I'm not saying that that is a general thing across the board. There are some lovely English men and women, lovely families that are very accommodating. But you
Yes.
can't say that for the majority. I don't think you can say that for the majority.
Mm.
It's again, you can say that of the West Indian. It's like of the of Jamaicans, or of the Catitians, or the Montstratians, or of any other West Indians among West Indians. I think
Yeah.
that you're going to find varieties and variations across the board where that's concerned. But the Scottish, again, I find them to be very accommodating. They're friendly people.
Mm.
Scottish are friendly people.
Well, one of the things that
I have found them to be friendly.
yeah.
And
Well,
Irish and the
yeah.
Welsh. They seem to be more accommodating. Now, probably this is a bit tainted, but I think they're a bit more accommodating to foreigners more than the English.
Well, Garrett.
A good
Yeah.
example
Yeah.
is when Neil Kinnock, when he was the Labour Party leader for many
Okay.
years, he could never win the election because they just felt that a Welshman could not step into the office of Prime Minister. But look
So,
what's happened now.
so his son is in that same position there.
Could be. It could be. You see,
Eh,
sometimes the what falls on the father sometimes affects the son to some extent.
yeah, but Gary, I mean, look at this here now. The Prime Minister of the UK is
Well,
Rishi Sunak. Hey, no, hang on.
listen,
The Prime Minister
you
of
and I,
Rishi.
hold on. You and I know that he went in. It wasn't by general election. You and I know that, and
It
I
doesn't.
think that
Gary.
I
I,
think and I believe
yeah.
that if it was a general election, Silborn,
Let me
our
keep it.
friend Rishi Sunak, he
Yeah.
would not be going into 10
Okay.
Downing
Okay,
Street.
Gary. Many people say that. I'm going to deal with the facts again. Rishi Sunak is a prime minister. Suella Braverman is a home secretary, and then you got James Cleverly, who is the foreign secretary.
No,
Hang
what?
on a
No,
second.
no. Hold
No,
on.
no, no, no. You got a chance to
No,
speak. You
no,
got
no,
a chance to
Silver.
speak, and
No, Silver.
you
No.
got you got Sadiq. Oh no,
No. I'm not going to let you finish. We've got unelected officials in office. Unelected.
all right.
They have not got. They have not got the backing of the country. Even
Sadiq,
though
Sadiq.
No, hold on.
Yeah,
Listen. Give
yeah,
Sunak his dues.
yeah.
I like his moves. I like what he's doing. He's not in the limelight like
Mm,
Boris. That's
yeah.
fine.
Gets the job
But
done.
we've got to look at how did he get there, and I think that is what the political pundits are going to say and have been saying. How did he get there? And there's also a few of the public of the nation who is saying I never elected him. He's not a candidate that I would have gone for. That's what some are saying.
Yeah, but Gary, we're gonna go back into that same thing that the only way someone can actually vote for Rishi Sunak directly is if they um were in his constituency, isn't it? Isn't it? That's all. That's the only way they can vote for Rishi Sunak if in his constituency, Gary. So you can't vote for Rishi Sunak
Well,
unless you're in
no.
his
Well,
constituency.
yes. His constituency elected him for him
Mm,
to represent them in parliament. That
yeah.
is fine. But he was not elected by the country. He was elected by his constituency. That's one thing. To be elected by the majority or by the country is completely a different thing. And just like how Boris was elected by his constituents, and then he went to the country and the country elected him, that's another thing. Because he had the mandate. He was given the mandate by the people to do what he was elected to do. Sunak was
So
not.
what you okay? Let's go to Sadiq Khan then.
Well,
Sadiq
what
Khan.
about him? What about him?
Sadiq Khan was elected by the people.
He was
Yes,
elected by what people though? What
British,
people? No,
Londoners.
London,
What do
just
you mean?
London,
Yeah,
just London.
but he's the mayor of London, Gary. He's the mayor of London.
You guys get him out, strangling the whole lot of
No,
you down there. You can't
Well,
even
okay.
you can't even buy a car and drive it because the moment the wheels touch the road, he wants to tax you for it.
All right. Okay. This new guy who is the leader for the Scottish party, are you gonna say that he wasn't elected by the people again? Was he elected by the people?
No, he was not elected by the people. He was
Gar-
elected by his constituents, and then his peers have elected him to
Gary, he got
to
70.
to take
No, there was
place
a
of.
hundred or there's about 100,000 or so Scottish people who voted, or 70,000, and of the 70,000, a certain amount of vote, and he got
No,
about
but who elected him? Who elected him to replace Nicola Sturgeon?
same people that elected Nicholson.
Who?
The people, the same members.
The
Okay, so you're
members.
talking.
The members. It was the members. It was not. It was not. You just dug the hole and jumped in, Sylbourne. It was the members. The members of the SNP.
But Gary, this is politics at the same time because
Well,
are
yeah,
we?
it is
So, so,
politics.
so
It
hang on a
is.
second. So hang on a second, and I put it up. So Hamza is there, Swilla Braverman is there, and all of these guys are there, and they are not actually elected by the people, or so the majority of the people. So they are what? They are just buying time.
They are buying time. You know when they
But
will
Gary,
get no, do
yeah,
you
yeah,
know when they get the mandate? They will
yeah.
get the mandate when the
They're
country
gonna get
goes
the
to the
polls.
general election, and if Sunak wins, which I would very much like for him to win, if he wins, then he will have the mandate. He can properly say, "I've been elected by the citizens of these great British Isles to represent the United Kingdom."
Yeah,
He's in the office, and
yeah,
that's what he's doing. But he
yeah,
has not got the mandate to do to do
yeah.
it on behalf of the people.
But Gary, can we not say that there's a change in face of the United Kingdom reflected by the persons who are up there in power? If they weren't there in the first place, they couldn't have been where they are now. So therefore, the party structure is actually enabling them to be in the key position. The
Yes, I mean,
parties are being very diverse. The conservative is being very diverse. I mean, the only party which is not being diverse at the top now is only the Labour Party.
I agree with you. I do agree
Mm,
with you. I'm
mm,
agreeing with you up to that point, Suborn. But
yes.
still, yet they have not got the mandate. There is a
Okay.
change. There's a change in politic. There is a change in politic right now. There's a
Yeah.
change in the face of part of the parties. Things are changing, whether it's under the control of the parties themselves or not. There is a
Mm.
change taking place. The Labour Party seems to be going the wrong direction. The the
And,
the
and, and we
moment the
yeah.
moment that they the moment that when um when David Miliband should have been the one to take the party forward,
That's just where they miss
his
it.
brother, that's when they made the biggest mistake of their lives.
I'm brought in Ed. It should have been David.
But it should have been David.
Yes,
It
yes,
should
yes.
have been David. Point. I mean, hands down, it should have been David because Tony Blair changed the face of the Labour Party. Now, I didn't. I'm not saying I'm a Tony Blairite. I'm not saying that. I
Yeah.
didn't really like his policies. I didn't trust him really, and it worked out in my favor. I didn't really trust him, but he did something to the Labour Party that the Labour Party will never ever be able to take back. And
So
and when he stepped down and Gordon Brown took over, fine. And then there was another change where David could have gone in. David, they should have elected David, and they elected Ed. Then after Ed was who? Um,
Ed after Ed is now the present leader.
no,
No, oh, sorry, Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn.
it was Corbyn. That was
Corbyn.
the worst decision That I mean, man,
Well,
that was the worst thing that the Labour Party could ever have done
it,
at
it,
any point.
it,
But
it,
but 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 the thing
yeah,
about it too
yeah,
is that Corbyn had a chance, because if Corbyn had placed those young minds that he had, because it was the youth that put him in.
yeah.
It was the youth that put him in there.
Oh, Jeremy
And
Corbyn.
if
Yeah.
if he had put
Mm.
the young minds that were there around him in strategic positions which were there, then he would have been hailed as a god. I'm telling you, because then the Labour Party would be in a much,
Yeah.
probably, I would say, probably in a better position
All right,
than
all
what
right,
it is.
all right. We're gonna
He
jump
never
right
did.
in. We're gonna jump right into David. Sorry, Keir Starmer kicking out Jeremy Corbyn, and what does this mean for the Conservative Party for the next election? But first of all, let's finish with the Scotland new First Minister Hamza Yousaf. He has been confirmed as Scotland's new First Minister after a vote Scottish Parliament. Mr. Yousaf, who succeed Nicola Sturgeon, is the country's sixth First Minister and first from an ethnic minority background, right? And that is him there. And the images which I've put up there, you can see his family, which is right there, and and he's ready to rock and roll. The new Scottish leader, the changing face of the UK. Gary says not the changing face; it's just a lull. You consider this a lull until the 25th, until the general election in 2025, isn't it? So what
Well,
do you think?
I mean, I would say that. I mean,
Mm,
I would say that. I would say that. I mean, politics is one thing. It's like men, people in business also. Well, that's a different thing. That's a completely different scenario there. But for politics, when it comes to election and electing people, you've got to give people the chance to elect who they want. Because the moment you begin to put people into positions and the people
mm.
do not have an opportunity to share their voice, then you're asking for trouble. You're
Okay,
asking for trouble.
the banishment of Jeremy Corbyn now. Um, is that a good move by Corbyn? What do you say? I mean, one would say that this is somewhat giving themselves over to the Conservative Party because that's creating a split. Jeremy Corbyn has a great following, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he
What do
may
you
have.
know, idea?
I don't know the numbers. It would be unfair for me to say that he has or he hasn't got a large following. But
Uh,
I think Corbyn needs to go and sit down now.
you mean he
Personally.
need to leave? He need to leave Islington.
Yeah, I think he needs to. He's done. Listen, that man has done well. He's done good. He's done well for immigrants. We all know those Jamaicans who are Jamaicans. He went to Jamaica many years ago and he spoke
Mm,
on behalf of Jamaicans and West Indies and so on. So he has had a good heart and he's had a good run. So I think that you know obviously, just like a lot of us
yes.
across the political, business, social
Mm.
spectrum, you make mistakes. You say things you shouldn't have said. You
So
make
so
decisions that you shouldn't make, and
yeah.
such. And with Jerry, with Corbyn, it was said, wasn't it, that he was a communist,
Mm,
and it may even be that he was a socialist to the extreme. And he may have done things, he may have said things that wasn't so right. But listen, just like a lot of us forgive people, I think we've got to forgive people. But he
mm,
needs to now step down. I think he needs to, allow the youth. There must be somebody in his constituency or someone within the party that can come alongside Corbyn now, Jeremy Corbyn, and take over from him. That is his failure. He did not
mm.
choose young men or young women in the party
Yes.
to come up and
Take
to
him up
be
to the next level.
mentored by him. But who did he put there? He put men as old as him, even probably older.
Right.
Probably went to
So okay,
Kensington
okay,
Green.
okay, okay, okay. So what you are okay. So what you're actually saying is that Corbyn's time is over, and it's time for him to relax and take care of his children. I don't know if he has children or yeah, I think he has a son. Time to really relax and chill. Don't you think that banishing him from the party maybe it's the wrong move or the right move? I guess we don't maybe follow
Yeah,
the Labour policies.
I think
Yeah,
that may be a step too much.
yeah,
I think that may be a step too far. Yeah, I think they should have treated him better. I mean, I think across the
as
board in this society, we don't really think much of our elders, do we? And that could be
mm,
anywhere in business, social, religious, political. We don't
yes.
really think much. Even in our own families or in our own cultures, we're
Mm.
not really taking much care for our elders. And it shows by the things that we say about them.
But one of the things about Jeremy Corbyn was about the racial bit there and the anti-Semitism. Jeremy Corbyn banned from standing as a candidate for Labour Party. They have voted to block him from standing as a Labour candidate at the next election. And the NEC voted 22 to 12 to approve a motion from Sir Keir Starmer to prevent Labour's endorsing Mr. Corbyn. And
Yes,
there is no right of appeal. That's very interesting, isn't it? Right in the heart of the Labour Party, which is the heart of democracy, which claims to be more fair, there's no right of appeal. So what? These human rights have gone down the drain just like that. Very interesting for the concert for the Labour Party.
yeah.
Corbyn is suspended from being a Labour Party and sits. So he's suspended now from being a Labour. So the whip has been removed, and he sits as an independent, following a row over anti-Semitism.
When was that? When was those
That was that
anti-Semitic?
was that was leading up from him moving out and into car summertime. That was I can't tell you the exact date for it, but you remember a lot of things. The a guide to labor some of the labor anti-Semitic claims is in October 2020, a report by the UK Human Rights Watchdog found Labour to be responsible for unlawful acts of harassment and discrimination during Jeremy Corbyn's 4.5 years as a party leader. An AHRC investigation identified serious failings in leadership. So he presided over that period, Gary. So that's where it is coming from. They're presiding over that period there. And therefore, there's a lot of people came out of the Labour Party because of that as well. Well, um, 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 Jewish person sort of, didn't find the Labour Party very friendly. And he was somewhat, I don't know if he was defending it or so, but he was more trying to justify it at the same time. So Keir Starmer had to make a call. He had to make a duty call or something of that nature. He had to make a call, and it's a do or die situation. Either way, Starmer can't win. So Starmer may not be the next prime minister from the Labour Party, but at least maybe he's setting the stage for the next person. I mean, I was watching Angela Raymar the other day. She's a firebrand,
Yeah, but
from down
I
from down your side.
no, I'm not too well, probably because I'm not interested in the Labour
Mm.
Party really, but I don't really see her as a leader. There has to be something. You see, well, there again. Let's go back to the old argument, and I know we just to touch on it a bit,
Yes.
but the 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 leadership of today is nothing compared to the leadership of yesterday, and and there were so many men, so many stalwarts. I mean,
Yes.
you can just reel them off like Heseltine and um, you know got Jeffrey Howe and
You mean these guys with gravitas,
yeah, man, they had
con-
they had they had some degree of
conviction, conviction,
conviction and passion
and
about what they
resolve?
believe. Now, I'm not saying that they were right. I'm not saying
Yes.
that they were right in
Just
every
like Margaret Thatcher. Just like Margaret Thatcher. Many people say they might not like Margaret Thatcher, but at least they know where it stood.
exactly, and they and you know people when they stood to talk, people listened, man. People
Yes.
listened. The country would stop what they're doing because Michael Heseltine or Leon Britton or these men of great stature, they stood and people heard what they were saying.
Yes.
Even on the other side, like
Mm.
you know um, Harold Wilson, and you can just reel them off. You
But
know,
Gary, Gary, we're not gonna get back these guys. Let's call a spade a spade.
I know,
And
I know.
hang on. We're not gonna get back these guys. But the big question is, and I know we're speaking like a broken recorded tape because we keep saying it a while. And there's an issue of leadership even in Jamaica right now. I mean, Saturday night I'm going to be talking about parliamentary language or parliamentary speaking in Jamaica, similar to what happened even here as well. But looking at leadership, you know, what is it? I know we say it all the while, but what is it that we need from the new batch of leaders coming in? You know,
I don't know, my friend. I think we listen. Every area of our society today, political, business,
mm.
social, religious, there seems to be a lack of leadership.
Quality leadership.
Men who men and or women who can stand, who would stand, who can stand and deliver, man.
Mm.
Speak with passion, speak with authority. It's not with the loudness of voice or how deep the voice is, but you can see, you can
Substance.
feel
Substance.
the substance. It's in them.
Yes.
It's in them,
Yes. Yes.
Sylbourne. It's in them. And both young and old, even the very babies that are born today, when they hear people of that stature speak, they stop crying and sit up.
Yes.
Because there was something about them that they carried, which I'm not sure. And I'm not saying that we don't have them today, but I want to know who they are. I would like,
Yeah.
if any of your listeners can really give some names to say this is a man that I respect highly and I
Don't, don't,
will
don't-
listen to him, or a
yeah.
woman that I can
Yeah.
sit and know that she is a woman of substance,
What,
whether
what,
it be political, religious, or business or something. But
Rishi Sunak is striking very strong with his words.
well,
He doesn't like he doesn't fan for the limelight, but he's very proactive working. When we say that,
again, he's a listen. He's being seasoned now.
he's getting
I,
seasoned.
I
He's
would
getting
like
seasoned. He's
he's
getting
being
seasoned.
seasoned now,
Yes.
but just like, okay, he's like the men of old,
Yes.
the Hessel Times, the Jeffrey House, um,
Yes. Yes.
these men, yes, they started off young. Yes, obviously they had to start somewhere,
Mm.
but they were seasoned. They were men who then grew into their passion, into what they led with conviction. They made decisions. They may have made it for themselves. That's fine. We can always find something to talk about
Yeah.
on any individual that you want. But
Yes.
yet, you knew where they stood.
Yes.
And even if you didn't agree with them, but you respected them. And I think we've got people today who who they're trying to appease people. They want people to agree with them.
They want to please. They are people pleasers.
So what
Yeah.
do they
Yes.
then do, Sylbourne? They will say things because they know the people will um,
Yeah.
respond to
Yeah.
what they're saying, because the people are finding, the speakers, the
Yeah.
leaders are finding areas that they will be pleased. They're not
So,
standing on their own feet.
so therefore, we are saying these are not persons that operate with serious resolve and conviction. They're more trying to, the world is becoming one whereby people are so very fickle. Is that the right word? People are so very fickle. They don't want to offend. So they are walking on eggshells as much as possible. Everybody wants to please someone. No one wants to be offensive. And therefore, what you need are leaders. Well, it's just like what when Christ came, he said, I came to bring a man against his family or something like that. I come to speak the truth. I speak the truth, what it is will. And that is something which is, and that is why I believe that leaders need to be persons that is not craving to win the next election. They are craving to be statesmen and to sort out a problem and create solutions. Because what we are seeing now, and as I think my good friend um, said it the day, O'Neill Cross on Talk and Sip, is that these persons who are making these fundamental decisions now affecting the world, and we're talking Ukraine, we're talking Russia, we're talking America with Biden, they are not persons going to be around possibly in the next 5 years. And the next generation of young people and people are going to be suffering or become a byproduct of these things and these persons who are out there as leaders. And the more you think about it, you more have to realize that it is so important that persons with a God given drive and a passion need to step into these serious positions. As much because, you know, I was going to say, who is the spiritual leaders? Once, I mean, the Pope, he's not well. Okay, he's not well. I pray that he gets better. But these persons who speak with some sort of authority, there's none anymore. When those guys speak, people would listen and they bring people together. Who can bring in Zelensky and Russia together? There's nobody can bring them together, Gary. So what the world is trying to do now is get them to fight each other and to tear each other down. Russia fight,
Again,
yeah,
so I have said this before, and I'll say it again,
yes,
that the leaders of yesterday, and I keep harping about the leaders of yesterday, and we
mm,
can't bring them back. We don't want, puppets anymore and all of that. That's all. But I'm saying the leaders of yesterday were men who fought in wars. They know
yes,
what wars did.
mm,
They know how devastating and how crippling wars and what they did. And those who led their countries and and represented their nations,
yes,
led them out of conflict, led them out of poverty.
mm,
They knew where they wanted their people to come out from.
mm,
Our leaders today, some of them don't know what war is.
yes, and they
They've
want
never
war,
had to. They've never had to fight out of conflict. Never until now.
and they
So
want war.
they think now the best way possible to achieve their ends and their means is to go to war.
Which
Is
is
to just
unfortunate.
fight for it, fight, destroy, kill everybody, kill anything. Because I mean, look at the mindset. I don't know if this is in his mind, but look at the mindset of Putin at this moment in time. Whether it be right or wrong,
Mm,
or whether NATO is causing it or so. Just leave that alone for the moment. Just look
yeah,
and see what Putin is doing. He's completely systematically destroying Ukraine.
step
I
by
mean,
step. So,
step
so,
by step.
so hang on a second. Many people think that he lost it, but maybe this is his strategy. It's like a slow creeper. It is like in the whole
Listen,
aspect of terrorism where they call them cells.
what
They just wait and then just build
what do they what in the past? What have they likened Russia to?
the beast. Oh, is it the beast or is it
The
something
bear.
else?
The
The
bear.
bear.
The
Yeah.
bear is a slow moving animal.
Yes.
But it is slow, but he is sure.
Yes.
And that is Putin's game. Putin may be
Yes.
slow, the machinery of Russia may be slow, but they are systematically destroying, slowly but surely, the economy, the foundation of Ukraine.
Someone was saying the other day. Someone was saying the other day that um, Putin wasn't well because of how he walked. And then somebody broke it down and said the KGB walk like that. That's how they walk. They'll keep one hand still because of their gun. And they walk like so all of them walk that way like a bad man. And they were showing the prime minister, the guy who was president at one time, how they walk. And even in America, they were talking about even with the president's men, they were saying sometimes one of them maybe you don't even have a real hand because inside there's actually a gun or something like that which they're holding on. Anyway, we don't know, but I think you're right about this bear factor. I think you're right that could be that Putin is actually being strategic, and that's his plan. And France, not France, China came by recently and had a good chat to them, for whatever reason, and there we are. But anyway, as we say, we have to keep our eyes on the spot, and we're gonna look at more of this, especially with God and government, as to the whole role regarding leaders and God fearing men in the whole thing. I saw something the other day. I think it's Uganda. I won't touch on to it, but Uganda became so very adamant that they are really anti-gay, and that is something there where and then they show a picture anyway. But anyhow, leaders with conviction or whatever like that. But that's another thing. But anyway, Chris Kaba. Do you remember this young gentleman, Chris Kaba? That
I,
is the guy who got killed. You know, this is him here, Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba recently was the gentleman that the police hemmed in, and then when they say they killed him. He was supposed to be some drug pusher or something like that, and as a result of that, now they're going to be a police sort of investigation in it, and I think they're going to charge the persons on it. I had something here a while ago. I was looking for it, but keep talking, Gary, about Chris Kaba, if anything. Um, well, there was lots of this um, in during in Prince Charles, which is King Charles, starting off his reign, and they were having all these demonstrations. A lot of people were out talking about Chris Kaba as well. And when they were having a demonstration in central London, um, people came out and were saying that, wow, a lot of people are coming out when actually these were people part of Chris Kaba demonstration, you know?
yeah, I mean, again,
Well, the shooting case is now referred to the CPS.
yeah, I mean, they always knew it's gonna go to the CPS. I mean, I don't think it's anything new. I just that the
Going through the motion.
party in the street, huh?
You think they're just going through the motion?
Yeah, I just think so. Anytime the police shoot someone, anytime a person is shot by the police, there's
Yes.
always an inquiry. There's always an
Well,
inquiry. That will always
yeah.
happen. They've just delayed the process, and worse still, because of what has happened in the past couple of weeks with the Met.
So there's
And I
so what?
think
Right?
that
Yeah.
I think that the Met has a lot to answer for. I just think the Met has a lot to answer for because they
So
know that
what?
there's some underhanded things going on.
So what we're actually saying then is that the police, which is under scrutiny, massive scrutiny, and as a result of the Barnes cases report, which I discussed in my show, which is going to come out with Pauline Campbell on the sofa. There are lots of things about the police, which is a misogyny. The police is institutional racist, and and we're talking and homophobic, and we're talking about even from the McPherson report. That's from the time from Stephen Gary. That's what I was saying. Is it a deja vu? It's like nothing has changed. The police watchdog has referred the case of unharmed black man shot dead by an officer to the CPS, right? And the father of Chris Cabot 24, father to be Chris Kaba met police through the windscreen of a car in Streatham Hill, South London, on 5th of September last year. And the family told the BBC that it welcomed the decision but wanted the officer to face criminal charge. And the Met Police marksman who fired the fatal shot was suspended, right? And the IOP director Amanda Rose said the referral does not necessarily mean that criminal charges would follow. So what they're doing, they're actually going through the process, appeasing the family, appeasing the supporters, appeasing persons who are following up to say that the police is actually um, going through the process of it at the same time. It is said that the police force need totally overall overrule. I mean, overall, that's the right word. And even a lady who actually have some issues with the police, she said she's scared, she's fair of every time she sees the police. Yeah.
I mean, even this what I read here, that last paragraph in that piece there, it says the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said Chris had his whole life ahead of him, and his death has had a huge impact on Londoners, and in particular black Londoners, with anger, pain, and
Mm.
fear felt across communities, along with a desire for change and justice. Now, listen. I mean, listen to me, man. I mean, these things are those political statements. There's nothing in it. These
The what?
guys need to make statements.
Sorry, I lost cracking up a bit. So what did you say, Gary?
These guys, there's nothing in it. These guys have to make statements. Sadiq
Yeah,
Khan, Sadiq Khan is just making a statement because he has to. Look
yeah,
how many other black men, look at these other black boys have been killed. How many more black boys has to be killed before change happens? It's
yeah.
just it's a waste of time. They're playing
Mm.
politics with our sons. They're playing politics with our black men,
And
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 the
mm,
black community is fed up with it. I just wonder, when are we? And I don't really mean to be inflammatory, but if they say it is, it is. But when
yeah.
are we? When is the black community really going to smell what's cooking? Like the rock's lingo. You smell what the rock is cooking. You
Are you
know.
talking Dwayne? Are you talking Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah,
Dwayne.
Dwayne Johnson. Yeah.
Are you talking Dwayne.
No, but really, truthfully, man.
You
Let's.
gotta
I
put
mean,
your eyebrow up one way. Sorry, I can't do that. Yes, you're saying. Mm,
yeah. I mean, truthfully and honestly now, and to we all smile, we all laugh. We can really, but there, as I've said before, man, as I've said before, and I keep saying, aren't there any serious black men or women out there that really has the the respect of our black people, of our black communities, to stand, man, and say what needs to be said and
mm,
told to the people who are in power? Because these it your son, God forbid, your son, my son,
mm,
26
mm,
year old, yeah, he could be on the streets one of these days, minding their own business, only to
mm,
only to be pulled over in his car, you
mm.
know, mistaken to be a drug dealer, shot in the
Yeah.
head. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And then shortly after, an inquiry has to appease us. Listen, man. I mean, no,
Appeasing.
an
Appeasing.
inquiry cannot bring back our boys.
Mm.
An inquiry cannot address the situations that's happening in our communities. Stop the inquiries. Stop it, because at the same time, these policemen that are being sent out there to do the job, yeah, nothing is going to come back to them.
Yeah. But when you said stop the inquiries, do you mean stop the inquiry and just proceed with the process of
Just,
criminal
yeah.
charge?
Yes. I mean, what does the inquiry do? You tell me. You are a lawyer. You may not be a
Mm,
lawyer within the criminal service. But let me
mm,
ask you, what do inquiries do? What is it that they produce? Just a whole lot of pages a whole lot of chapters, right? And it shows that probably a process, but then nothing else happens after that.
Let us check because what I understand. Go on, Gary. See what you're saying.
No. Yeah, one other thing. I mean, look at the report that was done by what's his name?
Casey,
Uh,
Barnes Casey, recent one or McPherson
yeah, the
or even
one
Lammy.
that was it the one with Lammy? Because there
No,
was
this
one
one.
that was done and it was sent to it was it was sent to the office, but then they had to tweak it in order to send it to Boris.
Are you talking the one with Mr. Sewell, Tony Sewell,
Yes,
about
yes,
Institute for
yes,
Racism?
yes,
Yeah.
that one. That one.
Mm,
What happened to that one? Huh? What happened to the case? What happened to the situation? What happened to that report?
mm.
Where is
Well,
it?
even the McPherson report and the Casey report and all these different reports, they're now piling up. As Pauline was saying, they are piling up. As a matter of fact, they soon may become seats where people can actually sit on. But what it said, the police watchdog has referred the case of an unarmed black man shot dead by an officer to the Crown Prosecution Service. So what we need to understand, right, it has been referred, as you said, Gary, referred. He's not charged. And what the police actually said is that the referral does not necessarily mean that criminal charge would follow. So, Gary, it is like the poll tax. They say the poll tax when Margaret Thatcher brought that in, and I wasn't here in the UK. They put the poll tax out there, and everybody made noise and people were getting upset, and then they pull it back. They put in the council tax. And it's like it took the thing out. So what you're saying and what I sense and what I pick up as well is that these inquiries and these referrals, criminal charge, etc., is to cushion the anger to say something is going on. And then after that, more than likely, police is very hard sometimes for them to be charged, for them to be criminally responsible in certain things, because they have to use a judgment factor. They got to use based on their judgment if they're in fear of safety of themselves as well. We're not as the United States, but these police over here, they don't just pull their guns just like that. And gonna and some of the police actually who were part or cronies to the police said that they're gonna just resign if these things happen because they're not able to function properly in order to exercise their duty. That if every time that they pull their gun and every time that they want to do something, then they're going to be scrutinized. Referral is going to be made, and then they're going to be charged. It's very interesting to watch how this unfolds. And you could be right, Gary, that this could just going through a process, a motion to keep everybody at peace and at ease. I wonder.
No, well, we don't have to wonder. We see it. How many
Okay.
years,
Mm,
Silborn? Tell me, how many years
mm,
has this been going on? In a sense that year or every other, our young men from the time of Stephen Lawrence and even before then,
mm,
our young men, our boys, our sons, they've been killed. Then you have
mm.
an inquiry. How many years has that been going on? Yet we don't hear anything else about it
Mm.
after a while. It's then like it's shoved under the carpet. The
Yeah.
the, the policemen, do are they ever charged? No. Do they ever go to prison? Probably
Mm,
one or two does. It's
mm.
as if it's done so as to say, well, there's a signal to say, okay, we are doing something. But then
Yeah.
it's not really heartfelt.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
families, these things do not bring back their loved ones. That's what these people have to understand. If they miss, I mean, we don't know, right? If Kaba
Mm.
was in the well, he was in the car.
Yeah, he was in the
Yes.
car. Yes. They
When
don't. Yeah.
when they searched the car, what did they say? There was no gun. So what then
Mm.
did the policeman see when he was in the car? When Kaba was in the car, he
There's
had
some.
to say
Yeah.
something. He
Yeah.
had to say
Yeah.
something in
There's something.
order
There's
to
something.
prove
There,
that he
yeah.
needed
Yeah.
to release
Yeah.
that bullet.
I've not seen the video. They're not talking about the releasing of the video. Maybe the video went to the parents or the family only. But the video wasn't. wasn't, what should I say, shown, if anything like that, Garrett. The video wasn't actually shown, as well. Um,
No,
because they were
but
talking
the
about
point is
mm,
whether they're showing the video or not. The point is, my brother, is that
yeah,
is that when they searched the car, there was no gun. You don't need
yeah,
video to tell you that. If
yeah,
they themselves are saying there was no gun,
yes,
so the officer that pulled the trigger, he wanted to do it. It wasn't that
yes,
because they certainly knew there was nothing in there.
yes, yes, yes.
I believe that they knew that there was nothing in the car, but
Yeah,
because he was a suspect for whatever it was, he was a suspect. He was
yeah,
on their radar. That's
yeah.
quite evident. Because wasn't there a child in the car? Wasn't there a
Well, I'm
child
I'm
in
not,
the
I'm
car?
not sure if that car was in the car, but they said the car was linked to some firearm or whatever like that. But I guess what we'll do is, um you know one will have to wait to see what the outcome of it is, and we ask the question, the purpose of referrals and the purpose of these inquiries. They have their place in a way, but as you rightly say, if inquiries upon inquiries upon inquiries only produce inquiries and have begun and produce only papers, the MacPherson report, the case report, all these different reports amounts to nothing, the solar report amounts to nothing, then what we're seeing is just an appeasing process, if anything. And we'll have to watch your space on that, Gary, And yeah, so, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Prince Charles was in France, but they kick him out of France and don't go to France because guess what? The French are very upset. So Macron said, "I cannot guarantee your safety because my people are peed off, if anything like that." But he's in Germany at this present now. No, not Prince Charles, King Charles, and the Queen Consort Camilla. And I understand that you're going to go to the swear the ceremony, and you're going to be placing the
Coronation.
you're going to place the coronation, the crown on the king's head.
No.
Yeah. Well, listen, Saturday night, Gary, I've got the parliamentary thing, talking sip, parliamentary speaking live on Saturday night, the 1st of April, which is Tom Fool Day. Am I gonna have it on Tom Fool Day? I just remember it's Tom Fool Day, man. Should I have it on Tom Fool Day,
I mean,
Gary?
I mean, I was listening I think it was Parliament on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they need the Ministry of Finance. Is it the Minister of Finance in Jamaica, or was
Yeah,
it
Nigel
Sylbourne
Clark. Yeah.
who told his opposite to shut your mouth?
No, 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 not the Minister of Finance or the person to
Who
shut
was
him
it?
out.
Who was
It
it?
was it was the chair for the PNP who said that they should shut their mouth because somebody was trying to stop her from saying point of order. So it wasn't the Minister of Finance.
Okay, okay,
Someone said it may be another person. So it's about the parliamentary language because
that's
remember
good, man. They,
Skinner's, huh?
they must have that kind of language here.
Oh, they need to have it there.
They
But
need to have it
of
here.
course, if of course when they do it over in the UK, they said order, order, Betty Bouchard, and the late the speaker was there who said withdraw your words, and Dennis Skinner said, I will still say David Cameron, he is still called Dodgy Dave. He is Dodgy Dave. And then he said to the speaker, do what you want. I know what you want me to do. Do what you want. He's still Dodgy Dave. And the speaker, John Burko, said, what word are we talking about? The word that starts with D and end with Y. Dodgy. Dodgy. So Sid night definitely with Matunda Makula. He was a former public defender in Jamaica. So he's gonna come on Saturday night and we're gonna have a discussion. We're gonna see if we can get somebody else or a couple other persons to discuss this whole thing about parliamentary speaking in Jamaica and leadership. And it's about leadership because the thing about Jamaica is that when you bring up certain things and it is deemed to be not in favor of the present party, nobody now listen to you. Yeah, yeah, PNP. If it turn out to be something in favor of the JLP, PNP now upset. And it's so crucial that we can find someone or leaders who can stand up and can actually say, hang on a second, let's see if we can actually have some sort of resolution. And who is the person that is going to speak and with it. So that's it for Saturday night, Gary. You know, I've 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 got people on TikTok want to speak to me now. Gary, you need to go on TikTok, because there are lots of people on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? TikTok is a new thing. They're trying to get rid of TikTok, but the TikTokers are still going full on, isn't it? You know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining. Those on Instagram, those on YouTube, and join us Saturday night on Talk and Sip, us on YouTube, and yeah, let's talk about parliamentary speaking this Saturday night. And yes, have a good night, Gary. All the best.
Bless you, man. Bless you.
Amen. You stay there. Don't move. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and have a good one. Have a great Thursday evening. And let's rock and roll.